Hello and welcome to the Boostara podcast. I am your host, James. On the Boostara podcast, we speak to leaders in business and education and uncover the truths and insights from their amazing experiences. At Boostara, we help leverage AI for companies to boost growth, cut costs, and gain better business insights. If you'd like to learn more about how we can leverage AI for your business, please type the word growth into the comments below and I will be sure to reach out. Today, we are joined, I want to say, a bit of a celebrity, I feel, in the consulting and systems world, especially. Adi Klevit, founder of Business Success Consulting Group. Welcome, Adi.
Thank you, James. It's great to be here.
I've got to ask, I ask everyone, where are you calling us from today?
Florida, Tampa Bay area.
Oh, lovely, lovely. It's a bit warmer than us in the UK, but amazing. We have people joining us from around the world. So you're very welcome today, Adi. And I guess for our listeners that are not familiar with yourself, with your amazing podcast, I've really got to say really good things about your podcast because it is just a wealth of information. Could you just begin with introducing yourself, Adi, and the journey to where you have found yourself now?
Sure. So first of all, what we do in Business Success Consulting Group, we create, document, optimize, and implement processes and procedures for companies, for fast-growing companies that are lacking consistency, or companies that want to scale, also exit, sell, so they need a playbook. So that's what we do. We create those playbooks, we create those training manuals, we implement, we optimize, make sure that it is being followed by everyone, and really create consistency, empower the teams, and give the entrepreneur, the owner, the founder, the freedom that they so deserve and want to create on other things or create bigger strategies for the business, whatever that is. So that's what we do.
Amazing, amazing. And I suppose I really got to ask, why systems? What took you into consultancy with systems in mind? Because I guess it's a very specific approach to consultancy.
It is. I saw the need. I'm really good at organizing, putting order in, putting systems in, but I'm also very good at strategy, big picture. So when I started my own company, I've been doing it for almost 30 years. My background is industrial engineering, always into systems and production improvement, workflow improvement. So that always attracted me, something I'm very good at. So when I started my company in 2011, I was doing general business consulting, but I saw that without those systems, the business cannot grow and it cannot thrive. You absolutely need other things to do that. You need a good strategy, you need good HR, you need executive coaching, you need all of that. But I saw that there is a void in terms of systems, and it's something that I gravitated towards because I could make an impact. I could see the impact that I can make by establishing the foundation in terms of systems and how much it's needed in order to grow and scale to the next level. So that's how it started.
Very interesting. Would you say then, Adi, you work more with SMEs or larger organizations, or you work with everyone, but the challenges, I guess, between different size companies are going to be very different when it comes to systems?
We tend to concentrate on the mid-market because those are companies that grew to a certain level, and now they want to scale, continue to scale. They're facing the growth problems, and putting all those systems in place will get them to the next level. But they don't have those systems because they were smaller. They somehow, by correct marketing, by correct grid, not correct, by having that persistence, they get to a certain level. But now it's time to get to the next level. And that is what we do.
Oh, very, very interesting. And you said 30 years, right? So I'm guessing the sort of trends and the needs and the changes in the types of systems implemented have really developed and altered over the years. Have you seen that through specific periods? I guess a lot of people hate it when I say COVID, but sort of a pre-COVID world, post-COVID world, have you seen a shift in what companies need to implement?
Yeah, I mean, systems, you needed systems to, just like we have, we have a body here that is in 2025, and you had a body in the 1800s, or somebody had a body in the 1800s, we still breathe oxygen, right? I mean, there are still certain functions that we still have. However, we develop different, with, like, let's say, we have different skincare, we have different ways of taking care of the body, we have different clothes that we wear. So it is like the analogy here is basically the basic functions are still there, we still breathe the oxygen. However, how we go about it and what we do and the ease of it, right? In terms of, okay, so if you have somebody, a caveman, still breathed oxygen, but in order to get food, it was much more effort, as opposed to now you don't even have to go to the grocery store anymore. You can just order it online, and it gets delivered. You can feed the body that way, and it's faster, better. So it's the same thing. You still need systems. So that still remains, but how do we go about it? I mean, what are those systems are? Of course, technology evolves. So things before that, we had to document how to do it with Excel spreadsheets. Even before that, maybe, I mean, let's say I still had the Excel spreadsheet, but now it's, you have all the CRMs, you have all the technology, you sometimes have an overload of technology. So that plays into the systems that are needed and how to design them, but still the need for systems is still there.
Interesting. You just reminded me of hearing someone talking about customer acquisition, and saying about you can go fast, slow, expensive, cheap. So what's the fast, expensive route? What's the fast, cheap route? And this basically saying that what is true today was true in the 90s, the 80s. The advertisements are the fast and expensive way to grow, to get people into your funnel. But now it's not TV advertisements. We had it in the UK. I think it's something like 40 or 50 years since the first sort of TV advertisements came into place. Now it's all meta ads, right? But people, like you say, information overload. They don't know where to start when it comes to doing it. I suppose is that the problem? Do you think that whilst those needs and those basic principles are the same, but people just don't know, with tech especially, where the hell do I go for this specific solution, or this specific area of my business? Because there's that many options out there. Is that a lot of the problem that you see?
Yeah, I mean, that can be the options, but we also go back to the basics. I mean, what's your process? What's your workflow? I mean, that's where you need to start, and then you can see which solutions apply where. Because you do have to have the foundation and understand your business at a foundational level. Then you can choose the right tool to solve the right problem.
Yeah, exactly. Then, are there some sorts of misconceptions that you have when you get clients maybe working with you for the first time, and they've never worked with a consultant, they've never worked with a consultant that specifically deals in systems? Are there any misconceptions that they have the first time when they start working with you?
Yeah, one of the misconceptions is that you can go and build a technology, build an AI tool, find this amazing solution without really understanding your processes. Because when you do that, what are you really finding a solution for? If you don't identify it, then you're not going to be able to solve it. That's an analogy of the surgeon is going to do a surgery without any tests, without any x-rays, without any ultrasound. And what are they fixing? Oh, I feel like I have some problem here. Okay, let's go fix it. Well, first of all, let's identify what the problem is, and then let's go look at the options, discuss the options, and make a decision for what is the best option. And I think that is the right sequence. So the misconception is that there is a cure-all by technology, where really the problem is the process.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the other
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you find that with a lot of partners, clients, that they think that they have a particular problem, but that's not the problem, and it's your job almost to uncover a sort of deeper cause or issue that they have that they don't even realize?
Yeah, I mean that I learned a long time ago when I was also working as a general consultant in a general consultancy, general business consultant. For example, you will get somebody to say, I need new clients. That's my problem. My business is not doing well because I need new clients. That's my problem. And
Mm,
then you dig in there, and really the problem is in the retention of the existing clients because you're signing new clients, but then they don't stick because your operations, the processes for the operations are non-existent
mm,
or not being done correctly, so you can't really service the clients you are gaining. So the problem is that your revenue is tanking or you're not making the amount of revenue that you would like to. The reason is not because you're not getting new clients. The reason is somewhere else in the process it's broken. So it's
mm,
really diagnostic and identifying exactly where it is broken so that particular aspect can be fixed.
Oh, very good. Well, and the other misconception?
Yeah, so we talked about the misconception of the processing of having to have technology before processes. The other misconception is that it is boring or it takes a long time or it can't be done or it's not important. Well, the first thing that we do is we first of all find out the why.
Mm,
Why do you want to document your processes? Not because you were told, not because you read in a book, but why? What is your why? And when you find that, then things stop being boring or they stop being, hard because you see where you're going. For instance, if you hire new people, you want to expand, you want to grow, you want to hire and train them correctly. And right now, it takes a long time to train. It takes
mm,
a long time to onboard, and some people don't make it. Well, then your why of documentation is so you can decrease the onboarding time, so you have a better training process or a
mm,
training protocol to move new people through. If that is your why, then you can imagine, then I will ask you, well, what will happen after this is done? Oh, I will be able to get people through the onboarding process smoothly from beginning to end and
mm,
start producing. Okay, good. What's happening now? This is what's happening now. Okay, so the before and after. Good. Let's go to the after. Yes, would you need to put some work into it? Absolutely. But this is the advantage. This is what you're going to see. And we're going for those quick wins. So immediately, 3 months later, you have it, you hire somebody, and they can go through the onboarding process very smoothly.
mm. No, it's interesting that you mentioned there the quick wins, right? Because I think when working with uh, CEOs or high level management, often when they bring someone in from the outside to look in on their company, there's a bit of a balancing act, isn't there, between delivering results quickly within a sort of measurable time frame, but then you also knowing that, well, putting the system in place is going to have an impact, but it might not be a measurable impact that you will see, for another year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe beyond the scope of our kind of partnership. Is that a bit of a sort of a balancing act as a consultant that you have to play, and actually letting the CEO, letting the executive see, like, okay, I can have immediate impact on your company right now, but more important than that is the long-term impact and the growth that you're going to experience.
Absolutely. So we evaluate what are the quick wins, immediate wins, and how long will it take for you to get a return on investment, and what is also the multiplier into the future. So we account for all of that. So some of it will be immediate and some of it will be in the future.
No, no, that's great. That's you reminded me. I'm going to ask you about AI in a second, but you reminded me of a Chinese businessman I used to work with, who he used to tell me, and I think this is relevant with systems, that in order for a company to survive and to survive long into the future, it's important that you're not easy to copy. Your whole structure should not be copyable. It should be very very unique. And I guess from your experience with implementing systems and seeing every business as unique, I guess, um, is that an important element, do you think, for companies to not be easy to copy from the outside, but then just have strong systems that keep them viable?
I think having strong systems is very important. it has to also be to that point of not being culpable.
Mm.
You have to have your own systems. You have to have, it has to be unique to you. I believe in, I have an abundance mentality. I really believe that you can have 10 companies that are doing the same, basically producing the same product or delivering the service. Still, there is, if it's in a market that can sustain that, you're all going to do well. And it all comes down to the reason why I see the systems are important, because it creates the stable foundation. People want to do business with companies that are stable, that they know what they're doing, they're not making mistakes, that they are being delivered, that can deliver what they promise. And in order to deliver what on your word, on what you promised, on what you said you're going to do, you got to have the machine to execute it. And that's, for me, what systems are creating, is the machine of execution. And it's always people and processes. If you have the right processes and you have the right people to execute upon those processes, then you're going to get a result every single time. And for me, that's the stability. That is the continuation. That's the survival. Because if you have your competitors that might advertise that they're doing the same thing, but if they don't have a stable system, then you can't really execute upon it. And also, even if they get a hold of your systems and how you do things, there is something within the company. There is the best practices, there is the culture, there is how you implement it and how you use it that makes the difference. So that is my take on it.
Yeah, and that's leading into AI. I think that's I would normally ask guests, AI, are you a supporter or are a skeptic? Or I know for sure you think very positively about AI. But I guess the important thing in my mind for people to understand about using AI is it's not completely replacing your system. It's contributing to different aspects of, say, your sales strategy, your sales system. And yeah, I guess could you just kind of give us your take on where we're heading with AI and how important it is within a business context to implement these AI solutions or to add into your elements?
Look, AI is here and it's going to stay. This is the future. This is the present, is the future, and it's just going to be more and more, because that is the simplicity of it. That's what it is. It's like the yellow pages, right? We talked about advertising in the past. So you could be a yellow page or a yellow page rep, and I don't know what is it, like 15, 20 years ago, and you can be very resistant, says, no, it's not going to change. People are always going to look at the yellow pages and start calling from the yellow pages, and I'm going to sell you the yellow pages, and it's gone.
It was huge, wasn't
Right.
it?
So it's kind of like you have to observe, you have to see where things are going and not resist it, but learn, be a learner. I'm a lifelong learner, and I always want to be ahead, and I'm an early adapter, like to figure out how to use it, how we can use it for the best, One thing that I know for sure is that AI is not going to replace humans. It's not going to replace humans if we don't let it replace us. First of all, AI is created by humans, and it is utilizing human knowledge in order to give us the knowledge, right? And use the knowledge. So we need to improve ourselves and be more of a critical thinkers. We have to understand things. We have to be able to observe. We have to be able to evaluate. There is so many things that we need to evolve ourselves and keep ourselves at the top of the line, so we can actually use AI correctly. So people ask sometimes, I say what I do, and some people will say, oh, well, can that be done by AI? I say, well, good luck. No, try to do that, because what you're going to get, you can go into ChatGPT and say, hey, write me a procedure for running my call center, but it's not your call center, and it might not apply, and it might not be the right solution. So can you use the AI to ask you the right questions so you can give the information? Yes. And then take it in order to dictate, so you can actually, do not have to go type it. Absolutely. So there are different ways of working with the AI as a thought partner, as a strategic thought partner, but not having it just decide on itself what is going to happen. So that's how I see the power. Now, people have to understand that there needs to be a human element in this whole thing to evaluate whether the output is correct or incorrect. And
Mm.
that is something that cannot be replaced. We need to
Mm.
have humans evaluate if this is a good product or not a good product. Humans to direct. So you do have to be on your top of your game. You can't, if you just doing mundane jobs that don't require any thinking, yes, AI will replace it. But why compromise for that? Just now you can actually elevate yourself to the right level, to the next level. Another thing with AI is the misconception here. We already talked about that, but I want to elaborate on it a little bit more, is you can't bring AI to just run your company. You know, some people, oh, I'm going to use an AI agent. Well, the AI agent needs to be trained. How is it going to know what to do?
Yeah.
And that is the power of processes. If you actually understand your workflows, then you can direct and you can build an agent that can do a specific thing. But then if you want to improve upon it, then you improve the workflow, and then the AI agent will do something else that you direct it to do. So bringing on AI agents is very similar to hiring personnel. It's just in this case, you have predictability because they're going to do exactly what you're telling their robots.
Yeah.
You know, it's exactly the opposite of what we want from humans. Humans, you always, oh, I don't want to hire a robot that just will do the same. I want somebody to think. Well, here's the difference.
Yeah.
It is a smart robot that basically will do whatever you program it to do, but you need to program it to do something. So you have to look at it just like you're going to train new employees, you have to train your AI. And in order to train your AI, you need to have a very clear process, and then the AI will execute the process.
Yeah, I think adding on to that, remembering that they are tools, right? There is, and just what you said there has to be the human element. Just like with any tool, someone needs to use it, and someone needs to wield it. I really like the analogy of building a house. So you can't just build a house with a hammer. You need a range of different tools that all have different jobs that interlock with each other at different moments to build a house, right? But it still requires the human element of using the tools and having the tools to build that house, whatever that house might look like. I suppose a little bit backtracking a bit, because you know you have said that AI tools are, you know, they're going to be implemented very specifically for the individual company, what they're experiencing, what their goals are. But you know, what tools have you seen, you know, from your clients, from your partners that are having the biggest impact in the business world at the moment?
Yeah, so anything facing clients, patients, customers are very strong in terms of client intake. So answering the phones, getting like any scheduling software, any answering questions. So like a Q&A, so frequently asked questions, so answering specific questions. So then it just escalates when you actually need a human because some of the questions can be answered. Different chats, different way of interacting with customers. So that's I see has a big makes a big difference. Data analytics reports, evaluation, that definitely you can get information right away. Of course, in marketing, in terms of content creation. So there are different places where I see, depends on what the business needs, that's where the impact is.
Yeah, amazing. And it's yeah, I think like we said, it is having the human involvement to wield that and to analyze it and to understand what actually more needs to be put in place or taken away, right, to have the greatest impact. I suppose an interesting question for you, Adi, for your business, is there an area of your business that you haven't been able to automate, but if you were able to automate, if there was a solution to it, you think would have sort of the biggest impact for you as a
Sure.
business owner?
I mean, we weren't able to automate the knowledge extraction and the writing of the processes and procedures. I mean, of course, we can use Grammarly, other writing tools. We do use ChatGPT to help us make it faster, but it still hasn't. You need the human element there. You need the technical writers to decide what to do. You need that critical thinking of asking in a way that is simple to the point, and then another human can answer you. So that is definitely still very much human and talent driven.
Yeah. Until there's solutions, right? But I think that's the point. It's the higher human value activities, right? That's what AI is for. If it can take away the manual data entry, if it can take away all of the time consuming elements to free us up for conversation, for better, higher level analysis, that's what, we should be here for, and what will probably make everyone feel more valuable in that way, right? In their own roles. For yourself,
Absolutely.
for yourself, Adi, well, what's the vision going forward for yourself and the company over the next kind of period?
Continue to expand. We're expanding like crazy, which is great. And more more companies need that high level workflow so then they can implement AI. So we're definitely a solution for that. Companies, a lot of M&A, merger and acquisition deals going on. So we are being brought to write the playbooks so that knowledge can be transferred. So definitely a lot of expansion.
Amazing, amazing. Well, Adi, I mean, if anyone wants to reach out for you on any of those directly, what's the best contact details to get you on?
Yes, so I'm very active on LinkedIn. So it's Adi Klevit on LinkedIn. So it's ADI and KLEVIT. You can also go to successreplicated.com, and that's you can download an ebook about how to systematize your business, how to increase profit by systematizing your business. So that's Success Replicated. You can also call or text us at 503-662-2911. You can email me directly at adi@bizsuccesscg.com. Many ways to reach us, and all of them has a contact me button, so you can do that so we can have a conversation, and I would love to.
Brilliant. I was going to say there's no fax. All of the modern ways of communication, right?
That's right. We don't have the facts. That's right.
And I would as well strongly advise anyone listening, System Simplified podcast. That's your own podcast, correct,
That's
Adi?
right.
Yeah, a very, very good, informative listen. But I will put all of your contact details below, and I'd encourage really everyone to contact Adi. Some fantastic work that you're doing, Adi. But thank you very much for joining us today, Adi.
Thank you for having me. It was a great interview. I appreciate it.
Brilliant, brilliant. And thank you everyone for listening today.